don't need to have access to the system itself. And what we also do for the system, we create manifests, and that means that it automatically retrieves data from the system. And those manifests can also be used, for example, to automatically retrieve information about installed tooling. If you have systems having Visual Studio 2005 or 2003 installed, and your build, you can then automatically have your build server choose, depending on the build script you're running, the right server to build on. So it is automatically build server choosing depending on the parameters you choose. So another thing is we have libraries, so that means that if you have some scripts which you can call, so you can think about them as subroutines. I've got here a very simple project, and you see here some of the project parameters being used, where you can have settings on which machine you build the build, who has access to run the build, priority, whether or not you can run builds, multiple of the same builds in parallel, or if you want to limit this, what to do when things go wrong, notifications, and then if you look at the build script itself, it's just a set of commands, and so that means that you can run every tool as long as it has a command line interface. You can run from buildforge. And this also makes it flexible to support almost all the SCM systems there are available. If it has a command line, you can plug them into buildforge. So that's the flexibility. We support, because we work with agents, those agents work on the most platforms like Windows, Linux, and Unix variants, but we also support for systems in the enterprise world, AIX, what I'm going to call COS and i5OS. But I also have customers running the agents on platforms like the Nintendo DS and VxWorks. So that means the agent you get as a company also as source code, not the main project, but the agent, so people can port the agent very easy to different platforms and to run their tests on or perform other actions on. So these are jobs, and like things is if you want to parallelize things, if you can think I want to do steps in parallel, now that means that these two steps I defined here are now running in parallel. So it's also very easy for you to change the way how the steps are running, or if I want to move steps up or down into the build cycle, I can do this all through the web interface. Another thing what sometimes happens in what we call here is what we call log filters is not all tooling always supports the exit code, whether or not something failed. So we've got the possibility with log filters also to allow you to scan the output for errors and then return error messages upon the output. Because it could be that the tooling says everything is okay with the return code, but if you look in the logging, things go wrong. And if you run the command, all the steps are executed as one. Fails a step, the build stops, and you can restart your build at the and you can fix then your problem and restart the build when needed. So that's the thing how that's doing. Furthermore, things like administration, you can do user administration, you've got LDAP support. You have, so we can even import automatically the users from the LDAP environment, permissions being set, and things like scheduling. That's what's being used for nightly builds or continuous integration. And if you want to do continuous integrations, there is what we call adapters, and those adapters are which here you see the list of default adapters, which are quite easy to create, and also to modify. It's an XML file, and those ones, and those you link to a certain project, and that's how the system checks whether or not you have to build when you have the code changes. I think that's time. Okay, any questions? Prices? Oh, I don't know exactly.